Good evening to you all, and welcome to delayed commentary of yesterday's interesting match between Olympiacos and Burnley in the Europa League. It's the playoff round now, and Burnley stand 180 minutes away, potentially, from a place in the Europa League group phase, which would be an amazing achievement. But it was a match really that, when you listen back to the commentary, which I recorded last night of course, it was a game really that had everything in it. It had a lot of controversy, 2 penalties, a sending off, and it wasn't a night for the faint-hearted, I can tell you. But and then an interesting interview afterwards from Sean Dyche, which we'll hear right after the commentary. The whole 90 minutes of the game coming right up with yours truly. So let's get back to the start, where around about 5 to 7 last night, that's nearly 24 hours ago, the two teams emerged from the tunnel 9 o'clock local time in Greece to a rapturous reception, and it was obviously an hostile crowd over in Athens last night. But the teams walked out of the tunnel, and what was going to be a make or break night for Burnley. And welcome along to Athens. Olympiacos hold hands in European club football up against the Clarets, and there are the officials. We'll go through all the teams for you in just a second. Burnley in all dark strip, Olympiacos in red and white stripes, and in fact Burnley wearing black armbands incidentally, in light of the recent passing of Jimmy McIlroy, who died of course on Monday. Well, it's a boisterous atmosphere over in Athens tonight. At least there's a good 29,000-30,000 inside this arena here, and big night for the officials. They don't want to be intimidated by this Greek crowd. They have to be strictly impartial here tonight. They'll come from Slovakia incidentally. Let's look at the Olympiacos team, shall we? Giantos is the goalkeeper. Then it's Abaduli, Miranda, Vukanic, Tikazwaris, Kamara, and Bukanatis, Christopoulos, Fortunatus, who's the man they really have to watch playing in behind, Castro and Guerrero. The referee tonight comes from Slovakia. That's Vinic, Slavko, Konejanic, Thomas and Kovinic are his 2 assistants tonight. The Clarets line up as follows. Tom Heaton starts in goal. Then it's Barsley, Long and Gibson and Ward across the back. Then it's 4 in midfield tonight with Gudmundsson, Henrik, Cork and Taylor, with Ashley Barnes and Criswood up top. So essentially they're going to go 4-4-2 tonight as a play here for the Clarets, who have taken something nearly 1,000 supporters with them tonight, and they'll give good backing. Well, Phil Bardsley, a man who I've criticised in the past, I've accused him of not trying and things like that when he had to come in there, but should be. I think it should be a tight encounter. I don't think it would be. I think it would be close. And Pedro Martins is the coach of Olympiacos. And of course, Sean Dyche of Burnley. Just to check on the other official there, I didn't get the full name in it. In fact, it's Kovacic Andreas, who's the other assistant. There are no officials behind the goal. There's Sean Dyche, the Burnley coach, or they call it coach. It's a manager really. I don't like the word head coach or coach. I think it's wrong, but that's my opinion on it. It's going to be a tough old night in Athens. It's Burnley's toughest test so far. They've beaten Aberdeen over 2 legs and Istanbul 1-0 after extra time. Again, regrettably we couldn't bring you here on this JB Claret YouTube channel, but we can bring you the first leg of this from Athens. Clarets match delayed. And it's Burnley to get us underway in the dark shirts. Remember they wore white at Aberdeen. I think they wore dark shirts away in Istanbul. So Burnley 180 minutes potentially away, but they're up against very big heavyweights in European football terms. They played in the Champions League before in Olympiacos. And the number 5, Buenos Aires, has actually played for Nottingham Forest before on loan. So this will be a tough test. As I said, Burnley are now starting again. They're going from left to right, incidentally, the Clarets. And Olympiacos going from right to left in this first half. The Greek side in the red and white stripes as Barnes comes in there midway inside his own half. The ball is threaded forward. We've had 33 seconds gone. The long ball hit forward by Cameron down the near side, and Ward doing very, very well. In fact, it's Ben Gibson that's doing very, very well. And there's Guerrero, the main man up front. Burnley get the throw. I must admit, or I must confess, it did come off Ben Gibson last, but I'm sure that's just a minor decision that's gone against them there. Free kick there, fouled by Camera and taken quickly, but far too quickly for everyone's liking, because they weren't really prepared for it. Certainly the Burnley attackers weren't anyway. So 0-0 here in this intriguing game here in Athens, and already there's a player down, and it's Ward who's feeling it there. There's a Fortunanis with the challenge, and it was a very nasty one too. I'm surprised the referee has let that one go. He has to watch with high challenges like that. He cannot be swayed by this very partisan Greek supporters, and I say very partisan because that's all you can really hear partially in the background. Just Greek cheers and jeers everywhere you look. It is really it's really up against it for Burnley. Of course, the second leg a week today at Turf Moor, and we hope to bring you that one as well. Boy, there's going to be some good football on the JB Claret YouTube channel in the next week or so. A little bit of wrestling going on there involving Ashley Barnes, but it's a throw to Burnley, level with the edge of the area, and Barnes is claiming he was wrestled, and I have to agree with him. I think the Slovenian referee needs to get on his bike here and make some very good calls here, because at the moment he's refereeing this very poorly at the moment. And we've only been playing 3 minutes, and he's on Barnes again. He's been dragged there, and look at the number 5 there. He's pulled him to the ground. That should be a penalty. That, in my opinion, should be a penalty. He's pushed him clearly, and the referee has not even penalised him for it. He's given him a talking to. That, in my opinion, should be a penalty kick. Absolutely disgraceful from the Slovenian referee at the moment, as Barnes tries to play 1-2 then, and he goes down again, and then there's a little bit of a battle inside that penalty area. It's gone into touch, and it's a corner to Burnley, but I still believe that should have been a penalty a few seconds ago. As we look at and then number 21 Tukas Myers was battling again with Barnes. My goodness me, the referee here should be on his guard straight away, and he's let the Greeks get away with it. Burnley should have had a penalty. There's the corner. Goodmanson from the far side, headed out, and away you go Olympiacos, the red and white shirts, and now the ball out towards the far side, and Burnley have got to be careful now. They're getting numbers back, and the ball played in, and that should be the goalkeeper Tom Eatons, and is making his first appearance. But Pedro Martins aside, very lucky to not have had a penalty given against him there. Clear push on Barnes. I don't care whether the ball was in play or not. If you make a foul, you should be liable to give a decision. And I felt, and I'm trying not to look at it through rose-tinted claret spectacles, because I am a Burnley fan at heart, but it's hard to question my judgment of it, because I had to say that did look a penalty. Some penalties given for less than that in a Premier League match. The Slovenian referee needs to get on top of all this, because if he doesn't, as we come up to 5 minutes gone, it's still 0-0 by the way, as the long ball comes in there, flick on by Barnes. Gudmundsson has it out on the far side. He's playing on the right hand side and Taylor on the left, we're told, as Burnley now comes charging forward. This is Ward now getting the ball away. Didn't have his normal dependable game for me the other day. Ball breaks to Henrik inside the middle of the Olympiacos half, and Cork has pushed his man over. According to the referee, Fortunadis is the man who's been taken out. Let's have a look at that again. Cork going in there. Well, I think Fortunadis makes a little meal of that. Cork just using his strength. And I have to say the referee's made 1 or 2 rickets in the opening exchanges of this match. Fortunadis has it out on the right hand side for Olympiacos. The Greek side, of course, who last season failed to win their division, their top flights, for the first time since 2010. It shows how dominant they have been in Greek football over the last 10 years or so, as Guerrero is flagged, and a goal kick or a free kick I think has been given to Burnley. Yeah, we're just going a little bit, I'm just seeing now on the replay, just went a little bit early there, and I have to say good defending as well there by Kevin Long, even though it didn't really count for too much. That's Vukanic. Vukanic. As the free kick comes charging in once more. Big test now for those 2 defenders. And it comes now for Gibson, who gets the long ball forward, but it's out of play with too much bending. In fact, it was Phil Barsley who tried to hit it over towards Ashley Barnes on the right. There's Ashley Barnes. Well, he could have had a penalty there. As the old saying goes, Burnley never seem to get penalties. In fact, Burnley have got a free kick. Barnsley was taken out, and I've just seen him there. He's a little bit groggy there. That's I have to admit I didn't see that one, but it's a good decision if it has been awarded a free kick, because he did go in a little bit late. I'm hearing so a free kick. Well, this Slovenian referee needs to start refereeing this with a bit more common sense than he already has. A little flick on, but it's going to fall straight for the goalkeeper, Giantonionis, who takes the ball. This really is a real cauldron that Burnley are up against here. 0-0 as Gibson heads about 15 yards inside his area, and then, well, I thought he won the ball fairly. Another poor decision from this referee. Gibson's got eyes on the ball, he's won the ball cleanly, and the referee has given a free kick. I find that very, very baffling there that Guerrero has bought the referee again. I think the referee here needs to get a grip on this, because I'm afraid he looks, from where I'm sitting, as if he's a very fussy referee. Now that looked a foul there on Long, and they've been allowed to play on the Greeks, and the ball in almost towards Guerrero, headed away by Long, and again another poor decision from the referee. And I tell you what, if that had resulted in a goal there, I'm telling you now, this, for me, that's a foul there on Henrik. He knew what he was doing, Checkers Mares, and the referee was not 10 yards away. Didn't even give a free kick. I find that amazing. And to say as that ball comes in towards the penalty area, that's a free kick. But to say this referee so far, he's a FIFA approved referee, I have to question that wisdom. Because so far his handling of the match, apart from a couple of decent decisions, has not been good enough. Failed to spot a clear penalty in the area. I know there was a throw-in being taken, but it did look a penalty to me. As we come up towards the 9th minute, again Barnes tussling, and again he's given the free kick again. I thought Barnes was going flying there. This referee is just... Well, is Barnes not allowed to challenge for the ball? I think he's a victim for most referees, Ashley Barnes. He does get a lot of free kicks given against him there. It's Lazarus who's for his actual first name, I'm told. So we're gonna cut out the Christopoulos. It's a very, very hard name. So Lazarus. Lazarus is the number 11 as Barnes headed that forward, and a chance there for Gudmundsson coming in on the blind side, but back came across to Myers. And Burnley here have won themselves a corner just after 10 and a quarter minutes of the first half. Olympiacos of Greece 0, Burnley of England 0. Can Gudmundsson put in a very good delivery here? A man with so much game time and so much experience at the top level. As that corner comes in, it was another tester there for the Olympiacos defence. The ball headed back in there for second time around, and the offside flag has gone up, presumably against Ashley Barnes. Let's have a look. In fact, you could have took your pick there from 4 of them that were coming back from offside position. Looking at the replay that I'm looking at with the 18-yard camera, Greek television, quite clean catching them offside there. As Fortunadis comes charging forward, but this should be Gibson's, and Gibson does well. Good defending, shielded the ball and didn't allow Fortunadis to get in behind. Then that was really good defending there by the former Middlesbrough man Sean Dyche there, asking for a little bit more. You know what you'll get with Sean. He's a very, very cool customer of a manager. Burnley did have a very bad off day the other night against Watford. The second half, they I use the words very, very strongly. After that third Watford goal, they just seemed to lose interest altogether. Whether it was the thoughts turning to this game tonight, I'm not sure, but they should have done a lot better in the second half for what they did against Watford. But I think the ideal situation for Burnley now would be a draw, possibly. Get back to Turf Moor, and with an away goal behind them, and then really go into them. And I don't think Olympiacos have had a very good. I don't have a good record in England. They've played 12 previous games against different English opposition, and they've lost all 12. So if Burnley were to get a very good result, i.e. a 1-1 draw, for example, or even an away goal win, then it would set the second leg up very nicely at Turf Moor for them. But here comes Guerrero now, just to the left of the penalty area. The ball will be pulled back, and a chance here for Lazarus to play the ball back, and it's number 14 El Wahabadou. And now a chance now for Lazarus to play a 1-2 with Guerrero. Guerrero with a cross whipped in, and Kevin Long getting back there on the edge of his own 6-yard box, nodded in away, and then Ben Gibson completing the clearance. That was really good pressure there from the Olympiacos side. They've got a throw there as well, and they've taken it quickly. Now a real opportunity for the Greeks. Good defending again, and that's going to be a corner. I have to say, Castro there getting to the byline, and once again Stephen Ward. That's really good defending there by the Irishman, although some would argue it came off an Olympiacos player maybe, but a corner it is, with 13.5 minutes now of the first half gone. Olympiacos 0, Burnley 0. Into the penalty area it goes, and over the top, and in fact well wide, in fact, and it's a goal kick for Burnley, and it was the number 5 there, Buchanakis, who headed it wide. So Burnley survived that little flurry of activity there from the Olympiacos attack. Wasn't a very good header by the former Nottingham Forest loanee. 14 on the clock. Olympiacos 0, Burnley 0. Here's the kick from Heaton, making his first appearance. The Burnley captain wearing the armband with pride. To remind anybody who's tuning into this broadcast very, very late here, Clarets match delayed. No chat running, obviously, for the delayed games. But we will have a few live games, which I'll talk to you about at the end of the programme. So stay tuned as Olympiacos go in search now down the left hand side. The ball played towards Lazarus. Lazarus hooks the ball back into the path of Kamara, who's lost the ball. Now a real opportunity now for for Burnley to draw a free kick there, and Ashley Barnes, the master of it, gets them that free kick as Pedro Martins there looks on in a little bit of worry there. It's Chris Wood, it draws the foul. In fact, it wasn't. It was Ashley Barnes as it happened. And did push him there, the number 25 Miranda, I have to tell you. So a free kick to Burnley on the left hand side, about 15 yards from halfway, or a little bit less than that. Heaton takes it towards the penalty area. Barnes going up with the goalkeeper. He likes to throw himself about a bit, Ashley Barnes. Goalkeeper grabbed it anyway. And no damage was done, but Barnes likes to put himself about a bit, and I tell you what, the Olympiacos defence will not have an easy time with Barnes, because he's like a bee, buzzes around and annoys opponents when he can do. Son of a very good player, that one has to say. But we're at 0-0 here in a highly competitive first leg, and if Burnley could get a positive result to take back to the turf for the second leg in a week's time, then it's very much all to play for. But they cannot afford to lose by at least a couple of goals. If they were to lose, as a worst case scenario, it would be 2-1, and that's a cheap free kick to concede. I have to say, Kevin Long has been penalised. It did look a very soft decision. Chris Wood making the point to the referee. Let's have a look at it again. He's away from Cork this time. Well, he bumped into Henrik there. I think that's a very, very harsh decision. Now, that was the first one. This is the second one. Bardsley has hardly touched him at all. He's gone down as if he's been shot. I find that amazing. A poor referee, and now the referee's going across to the far touchline. I don't know who's down there. Is it one of the Greek players? I can't tell who it is. It's Burnley. It's a Burnley lad that's down there. Well, I have to say, there were two dubious decisions in that one move there. Ashley Barnes involved. There's a player down. I think it was Stephen Ward. He was the stricken player there. And if this leads to a goal, I think there would be some controversy. Should Olympiacos have got a free kick there? They've certainly got it under false pretensions. I certainly think Lazarus has conned the referee there. Burnley subs warming up there, as you can see. That was Ashley Westwood I saw there. On the bench, incidentally, it's Jeff Henrik who's down injured, by the way. On the bench, you've got Joe Hart, Sarkowski, the defender, Sam Vokes, Ashley Westwood, Aaron Lennon, and Mattia Vidra. Ben Mee hasn't travelled with the squad, so he's not in the 18 tonight. So 4 in the Burnley wall here. Maybe about to become 5. Fortunatus, 25 yards out to the left of the D. Just fractionally to the left of the D. Gudmundsson will need to stand back here. As the free kick comes in, oh, it's gone in! Fortunatus with his left foot has fired it into the top corner past Tom Heaton, and Burnley are behind with less than 20 minutes on the clock. Really good free kick, but should the free kick have been given in the first place? Well, there will be debates about that. Should the free kick have been given? But what a fantastic free kick. 20 minutes gone. There's a free kick, and I've just seen it there. The wall was never set up properly in a month for Sundays, I'm afraid. And it's gone right into the top corner. Terrific right foot shot by Fortunatus. And Olympiacos are in the lead. And to the vast relief of everybody who's Greek in the stadium, it's a tough goal for Burnley to concede, because I never thought it was a free kick in the first place. And now Burnley, with halfway through the first half, have got it all to do. So 22 minutes on the clock. 1-0 to the Clarets. This is Fortunatus who's got the goal. Fortunatus on the right hand side puts it back in field as that cross comes in from Cameron. A chance there inside the area, blocked away. I tell you what, that was almost an opportunity there. It was Castro, I think, on the turn who tried to get his shot off. Number 56 inside the penalty area. But we've got problems here. But the Clarets, 1-0 they trail in the first half of this game. 1-0 to Olympiacos. It is. Possession, well, not many arguments for that. 64 to 36 in favour of the Greeks. Not surprising, really. And if that's he's not going to give it. He's not going to give it. He's going to give a goal kick. And I think for the first time in the match, I think the referee, well, it's taken until after they've scored, really, to wise up to these blatant pieces of cheating here. They won a free kick which led to the opening goal under false pretences, and they try to win another one here. Lovely back heel there by Castro. And in the end, it was the number 20. Well, it was Timokias. He's looking for. I've not been impressed with him. I think he's looking for decisions every single time. Well, Burnley now need an away goal, no doubt about that. And the referee again gives the Greeks a free kick. I wonder if he's been influenced by a lot of the supporters here. I've noticed that every time a decision goes against the Greek side, that their bench is always up in arms. I've noticed that down below me when I've turned away from my monitor. Free kick to Olympiacos, who lead 1-0. But how much of that was down to a refereeing decision to give a free kick which never was ever a free kick in the first place? It does boggle the mind. But Burnley now had to defend the wall better. The wall had to be defended, had to defend it better, and they didn't do that. 1-0 the Clarets trail. The Clarets match delayed. The Clarets in Europe. And 1-0 we trail. This is Jack Court now for the English side, who can try and get themselves back into this game. If I can get an away goal now, then it's all to play for in a week's time. But I think a clean sheet would have been sufficient. And that's a foul on Henrik Gudmundsson, rather, surely over on the far side there. And it's that Nan again. He's just shoved him over Chikamigas. It's just appalling. Why is he not in the book? He's persistently tried to come the referee. He's tried to cheat. He's tried to foul. He's tried every trick in the book. And yet the referee decides to keep his cards in his pockets. Free kick comes in towards the penalty area. Header one inside the penalty area. They appeal for a corner. Or Gibson appeals for a corner anyway, and it's not. Goal kicked. 25.5 minutes gone. Just over, in fact. Burnley in big trouble here in Athens. 1-0 they trail Olympiacos. It's not what we were hoping for tonight. Bad news to report here in Greece. At the moment, Burnley, as things stand, are 1-0 down, but it's not a disastrous result by any stretch of the imagination. And they've certainly got the capabilities to get back into this game. Anything could happen. The one ball over the top, and the flag has gone up, and oh, that's annoying. Barnes and Wood thought they were through there. This time Wood was off, and just about offside. The referee assistant got it right that time. And a free kick is given. 26.5 minutes just passed. 26 minutes and 40 seconds have elapsed. 1-0 to Olympiacos. Here in this playoff round, the winners of which go into the group format, where they're guaranteed to play another 6 matches, and then top 2 from each group go into their last 32, where they'll face the dropouts, the third place dropouts, of course, amongst other teams from the Champions League at the turn of the year. European competition takes a winter break and then obviously reconvenes in February. And we're all not expecting Burnley to be in that shake-up by the second half of the season, but they want to have a good go at going far, maybe get to the group phase and have another 6 goals are playing a European game, and that would be a terrific run for Burnley, considering how the club would have progressed, and they've done so well to get to this stage. Aberdeen was no picnic. They were on the wrong end of some very ranked decisions up at Pittodrie in the first leg, but got a 1-1 and then proceeded to win after extra time in the second leg at Barnes, and Wood were in there, and Wood hit it over with his left foot from 7 or 8 yards out and into the stands for a goal kick. Yes, they made heavy weather of that, beating them after extra time, Aberdeen, and then against Istanbul they battled through a 0-0 where other teams would have backed down and died, but not Burnley. Then it could have gone against them in the second leg at Turf Moor, and it needed a Jack Cork special in the first period of extra time to settle matters, although you wouldn't have thought it. Istanbul came very, very strong towards the end of extra time and could have got an equaliser and got through themselves, and it could have been Istanbul completely through the next round. Meanwhile, Olympiacos on the break. It might still break for them. Burnley only got it half away, and the ball played in by Lazarus, and now a chance now for Castro inside the area. He goes down again, Robert, too easily, and the referee now is starting to wise up to their tactics here. And the Greeks again complain and moan, and flag is gone up, I think, against Barnes, who's absolutely frustrated by that as he was trying to break down the left. Now let's have a look at this again. Castro plays a ball forward. Kevin Long is well within his rights. He's using his strength, and the Greek and the player goes down, and to me that's not a penalty. To me, Castro is looking for that, and I have to tell you that the referee for once got it right. Got it right. Referee was spot on. 29 and almost 3/4 minutes of the first half gone. Nearly half an hour in essence almost played. 1-0 to Olympiacos. Bucinatis with a free kick, which ironically, and not to put a pun on it, was a rather fortunate free kick they got, which led up to it, because I never felt it was a foul there by Phil Bardsley. But here come Burnley on the defensive again, and here's a chance now for the cross coming in, and it's a good cross from the right hand side by Lazarus, and that could have gone anywhere. In fact, everybody missed it inside the penalty area, attackers and defenders alike, and in the end it's out for a Burnley throw in, but it could have been so much more disastrous for the Clarets. A good cross by Lazarus, and Castro was the man in the edge of the 6-yard area, was lurking but just couldn't get in there very quickly enough. And Burnley so close to going 2 down there, and that would have been a goal truly of their own making there. Burnley still very much in the tie as we come up towards 31 minutes of the first half, and it's Olympiacos 1, Burnley 0. The goal after 19 minutes from Bucinatis. Here's Goodmanson now on the right hand side, the far side as I look. Infield again, this time Henrik has to look for options. Has it on the far side now. Can they get across in here? Court will try to do that. Finds Wood. Comes to Taylor. Taylor now inside the area. Taylor does well. Taylor goes in. Wood goes in. He goes down. It's a penalty. And the referee was right. No doubt Kamara brought his man down. And a penalty has been rightfully given to Burnley. Yellow card comes out, I think, for dissent to Buchanakis, the former Nottingham Forest man, and Burnley here have a penalty. Well, Taylor made it happen on the edge of the area, got away from his man, and then Wood got there first before Kamara did. Kamara clearly pushed him over. Wood goes down, and the referee has got it spot on for once in his life. That's a push, no doubt about it. He's pushed him over quite clearly. I've seen it 3 times on the replay, and Chris Wood, the man who's won it, the penalty that is, has a chance to chase Gianniartis in the Olympiacos goal. This now for 1-1. It's a 5-yard run up, a long run up. He goes forward, he'll hit his right foot. Wood scores, and Burnley are back in the game. And justice has been done here at Athens, that is for sure. A cool penalty, and again, I tell you what, if that had been saved, there would have been some question marks about the goalkeeper's movements as well, because he clearly moved a good 2 or 3 yards off his line before the kicker took his kick. But Wood kept his composure, hit it low, side of the right foot, into the far corner, the right-hand corner of the net, and 1-1. Burnley back on terms, and an away goal as well. Then if they can keep it at 1-1 for the remainder of this game, then the second leg, you have to, if it stays at 1-1 from now till the final whistle in this game, then I think any bookmaker would have to say that Burnley would be odds-on favourites for the second leg. Still a long way to go though, but 33 on the clock. And that free kick, which was debatable in the extreme, which led to the Olympiacos goal scored by Fortunatis from that free kick, has been quite clearly wiped out by a piece of stupidity by the number 4 Kamara. Clearly bundled Wood off the ball, definite penalty, and then Wood dispatched it with some aplomb, although the goalkeeper would well, I tell you what, it would have been interesting if the goalkeeper had saved that penalty. Would it have been retaken? Because he clearly moved 2 or 3 yards off his line. And Buchanakis here, if he's not careful, could well be seen red. I think he's hurt himself actually. I think I've been a little bit hasty there. But he's battling here with Wood. And then Barnes is in there. Barnes trying to make something of it. Oh my goodness, he hasn't even touched his face. How pathetic. I have to say, some of the Greek play acting has really not been good for the game. 1 on target apiece, 1 goal apiece. Burnley have had 3 on target themselves, and they've got a free kick here. Roderick, the man fouled there, or Miranda to give him his name, I've got written down on the sheet. Barnes wins the free kick. And a good position. Goodmanson to take it left of centre. 30 odd yards from goal. And you can bet your bottom dollar he won't be shooting. It certainly looks too far out for him to have a crack. Fortunatis needs to get behind that vanishing spray. Just a one-man wall for Goodmanson, but you know it's going to be floated in, almost a corner kick style, and it's hit the first man, who didn't appear to be 10 yards away, I have to say. It goes to Gibson, who lets it go for a throw-in, so Burnley can keep up the pressure, but certainly didn't look 10 yards away, Fortunatis, as that kick was taken. Referees allowed him to get away with it. Phil Bardsley, they take the throw-in now. Last 10 minutes of the first half. We're inside those last 10 minutes. 1-1. Fortunatis for Olympiacos, and Chris Wood from the penalty spot for Burnley. Sean Dyche again querying 1 or 2 decisions here. I have to say in the main that Burnley have been very, very calm on the bench. If you compare the 2 benches, the Greeks have been up in arms at every decision that they want. I can understand that to a certain degree, but it's influencing officials, and I don't like that. Here's Kerry Long, who's not put a foot wrong tonight so far. The long ball towards Taylor. Taylor wins that one very well. Can't find Wood. Ball netted away, and it'll drop here now for Ward, who hooks it down the line but out of play on the near side, the left hand side, as we look at it. Well, take your choice now. 36 minutes of the first half elapsed here. It's been an interesting watch so far, as Barnes wins possession, finds Cork now. Cork now to the far side. Bardsley needs to measure the cross in there, and it's a poor cross. Really feeble cross from Phil Bardsley. Needs to be a heck of a lot better than what we've seen so far. And it just underlines how badly we miss Matt Lowton. And Lowton, incidentally, hasn't trouble with the 18. Obviously staying back in England, but along with Ben Mee and 1 or 2 others. Maybe it's a reaction for them two not really playing well on Sunday, which really has led to them being frozen out of the European setup. Good to see Tom Heaton back in goal though, although he'll take some dislodging in Joe Hart in the league, because Joe Hart so far, when he's been in goal in the league for Burnley, has hardly put a foot wrong. Can't blame him for the 3 Watford goals that went passed him on Sunday. They take on Watford incidentally on Sunday, Burnley, with a kick-off at 4 o'clock. You'll be able to hear commentary on that on the Clarets match delayed. So we see that again as that ball comes forward once more. Chance here for Burnley to cut that one out, and it's out of play for a throw-in. We'll try and endeavour to cover every Burnley game for you this season, live or delayed, as we come to 38 minutes of the first half at the stadium in Athens, and it's 1-1. Olympiacos and Burnley. Ball played in, and it's too close to the goalkeeper, who takes possession. Oh, it's been a very tough examination for the Clarets tonight. So far they're passing it with fine colours. They've kept Guerrero quiet to a certain extent. Fortunatis has been there or thereabouts as the ball hooks away once again. And the football here from Burnley has been decent to watch. They've passed the ball around well. They're looking more confident as each moment goes by in this first half. And if they can get a second away goal, my word, that would make things a heck of a lot interesting then. But at the moment they're holding their own, and they're holding their honour very, very well. As we look at, as I'm looking at Pedro Martins there. It's 1-1 with 6 minutes of the first half left to play. Interesting first half here in Greece. And the ball will be hooked away by the Greeks again, midway inside their own half, and that could well be picked up by Bardsley in halfway. Bardsley jumping and then losing out, but Bardsley using his strength when surely was rugby tackled there, and it's got to be a free kick to Burnley. Well, it was Bardsley was clearly pulled back, and the Greeks are not liking this. Well, I'm just having a look at it again. Bardsley's the man here who's ahead, and he's got shoved out the way. He gets shoved out of the way here by Miranda. Oh, it's Castro, in fact. Castro shoved him over, and the Greeks they should think, and the Greeks think they should have a free kick. Well, I find that very difficult to believe here. 1-1. 5 minutes exactly left. Barnes again, not for the first time, being penalised. Well, been a half of real frustration for Ashley Barnes. Well, actually, I thought that was a foul by Vukanic on Barnes, but the referee, once again, not for the first time, has made the wrong decision. One of the 50-50s, in truth, not going Burnley's way. But here comes the goal kick. Gian Antonis, who kicks away. I do apologise for these mispronunciations. It's not often I cover Greek sides in competition. The first time that this YouTube channel has covered a team from Greece, or a club from Greece in competition in Europe, and as a live commentary. As Ward gets it down the left hand side, looking again this time for Chris Wood. I think it might have been Chris Wood, but it's hooked away once more. Bardsley looking to win the next ball, and then the ball back with Gibson. Now a chance now for Court to get forward, and then the ball hooked back again. Kevin Long now with a chance to clear. Good play by the Irishman, and that's surely going to be a foul there. And if they're not careful here, Bardsley was certainly tugged back as far as I was concerned over on the far side. The referee now standing for no nonsense, and Tikasmas, who really has been a pathetic excuse. He's clearly got his shirt pulled there, Bardsley. I've got to say, why is Tikasmas not being booked? He should have been booked earlier on in the piece. I think he should be off the field by now. I've not been impressed with his gamesmanship at all. Bardsley to take the free kick, right hand side. 10-15 yards inside the Olympiacos half, into the penalty area it goes. Second ball's going to be so crucial here. The ball bounces around a bit. Cork to win it. Can he find Henrik? He can. Gudmundsson now on the right hand side. The far side, Chakarakis again, swarming all over him like a wasp, and the header goes wide from Chris Wood inside the penalty area, edge of the 6-yard box that time. Good cross in from the left. Wood climbing higher than anyone else. Just needed better contact, better direction. And the goalkeeper may have had a problem or two. We're inside the last couple of minutes and a half here. Remember the second leg to come a week tonight at Turf Moor. And that could well be a crucial game in terms of the destiny of who will be going through and who may well be sadly bowing out of this competition. We sincerely hope that Burnley can stay in the hunt, and if they can, then they've got half a chance. As things stand, an away goal and a draw would be a perfect result so far for the Clarets, considering what they've had to endure. And here goes Fortunatis, and a pure handball, nothing given. And the Greek, I can tell you now that all the Greeks are positive. Now look at that, I'm just seeing, there must have been about 15 or 20 of them on the bench, and they've all gone up in arms about it. The referee's going across. Fortunatis is convinced. I have to say, from the naked eye, the referee, well, the assistant has also been yellow card, and I think that's the right decision. And if Fortunatis is not careful, he's going to receive a caution card as well. Lazarus is there too. He's booked as well. He's kicked off here. It's mayhem here in this arena. Now, let's have a look at this now. He's gone down the right-hand side here, Fortunatis. Crosses in right footed. Ward's got his arms down by his side. That's ball to hand. And under FIFA laws, there would be no hope of Olympiacos getting a penalty in a month of Sundays. I find that amazing that they're arguing a decision which was never on. There must have been about 15 or 20 people on that Olympiacos bench who all went up appealing and then started kicking off big time, and that was as well as the Greek players as well. I don't know if it's gamesmanship or trying to get in the referee's head, but it's really serious, stupid. I think that's really stupid from the Greek side. They're told to respect the officials, and I'm afraid they've questioned the referee's authority, and I don't like that when teams try to do that. Here's Taylor now on the left-hand side for Burnley. Crossing, blocked away, and now Taylor will try again. We've played 45 minutes as that cross comes in. We're going to have one added, I believe, at the end of the first half. Here comes Bardsley to Goodmanson now. The ball switched to the right. Goodmanson switches it back in field. Flick on there by Henrik. A chance here for Burnley across the face, and Barnes was almost onto it. And hooked away for a pro to Burnley right on the edge of the 6-yard box, level in line, in fact, with the 18-yard box of Olympiacos. But there must have been about 15 or 20 Greek... 15 or 20 of the people on the bench. I'm not sure if it's more than that. There was coaching staff and substitutes. They must have all jumped up as one, claiming a penalty which was never going to be on. We've played 45 seconds of the one, and showing that must be that now. As the ball comes to Lazarus, just inside his half. He trots over the halfway line, down the right-hand side. He's got support here. And Lazarus gets the cross in, and that's behind, and we've played well over a minute, and the referee should be blowing for half time. He's going to allow this corner at least. Gibson hooking it out. Surely Burnley have got to see this corner out, and that will be that as far as the first half is concerned. We've played 20 seconds, and there will be questions asked if Olympiacos score from this. Comes the corner now from Fortunatis, headed away. Goodmanson need to win the next ball. Oh, he's a bit late there, I have to say. He's a very, very late there, Goodmanson. Real stupidity there from the Iceland man. And Burnley now have conceded a free kick of their own making. He's totally gone into camera there, and he's bumped him off nearly there. He's took him out. High foot, knees him in the back there. Definite yellow card. No one can argue with that. Now, remember, Fortunatis scored with a free kick right earlier on in the first half. Now, the wall has to be much better than it was previously. Goodmanson has actually been booked for that particular incident. I think that was the right decision, I have to say. But we are deep inside. We've played 1 minute and 25 over the allotted one. And it could well be Tukamas, who arguably should not be on the pitch. That could take the free kick, but I fancy it will be Fortunatis, and it will deflected behind, and there goes the whistle finally from the referee. Well, it's all kicked off here. Big start in the last 5 minutes. Burnley fell behind after about 19 minutes. A goal from a free kick by Fortunatis, left of centre into the top left hand corner beyond Tom Heaton's despairing dive. But the equaliser came after 32 minutes. A penalty which was rightly awarded as Wood was shoved over in the penalty area, and Chris Wood tucked away the penalty. So it's all square here at 1-1. We're going to take a couple of minutes break, and then we'll rejoin you for the second half with the scoreline here: Olympiacos 1, Burnley 1 in the Europa League playoff. First leg. Welcome back to Athens for the start of the second half. No changes from either side at half time, as the referee, who was under a lot of pressure, I felt, from the Greek side when they wanted to allow the penalty, which was never a penalty, I should tell you, in the first place. Bit of skullduggery there, and Lazar, oh my goodness me, if that's a free kick against Stephen Ward, then that is a shocking decision at the start. I just wondered that there's nothing in that at all. Lazarus is play acted again, and I wonder if that bit of skullduggery towards the end of the first half, when the Greeks absolutely surrounded the referee and put him off, I wonder if that has sort of helped influence his decision here at the start of the second half. It did look a tad harsh. Fortunatis to play that in, and it's headed away. Comes back to Castro. Castro towards the far side. Fortunatis, who took the original free kick, is there on the right hand side. The ball back in field once again. Chance here for the shot coming in, and it's over the top of the bar and behind for a goal kick. Well, that would have been an interesting start of the second half. It didn't look a foul there on Lazarus, who had a shot in the end, but I have to say, hits this with the left foot. It goes well over the bar, but that was never a free kick in the first place. And I've got to tell you that I think some of the I have to say, I just have a feeling that the referee may have been influenced there, and it may well go back to what happened towards the end of the first half, and there was all that argy-bargy when Olympiacos were not given a penalty, which was quite rightly not given, because it never in a month of Sundays looked a penalty decision in my mind, because Ward has got his arms down behind his back, ball to hand, and there we go. Here's Lazaridis, played it in there to Fortunadis. Oh, he's looked for that, and another poor decision. Fortunadis went straight towards Gibson. Poor decision. Ken Gibson is dumbstruck because it's a yellow card. It's an absolute farce. That is not a free kick. Ben Gibson can't believe it. Never in a month of Sundays could you give that as a free kick. The ball played in, and to me, he's lost control there, and he knows here he's gone straight for Gibson. Gibson's trying to hold him off, and he's run straight into Gibson, has caught the referee unawares there. That's not a yellow card, and it's certainly not a free kick. He went looking for that for me, and that is a horrible decision. A minute and a half in the second half, and Fortunadis, who's quite fortunate in my book to win a free kick, will take it from the right hand side. The referee has no doubt been shaken up by those antics towards the end of the first half by the Greek side. Made two poor calls already. They've got to watch out for Buchanadis as well as their ball played in. And there goes Buchanadis, ends it into the left-hand corner beyond the diver Tom Eaton. And Olympiacos are back in front. But how much was that down to poor refereeing? The Greeks go absolutely mad with glee, but Burnley will feel very hard done by indeed. And I just wonder, that bit of skullduggery towards the end of the first half may have influenced things here at the start of the second, and as a result Olympiacos take the lead, but it was a free kick given under false pretences in my book, but not good defending at all from Jack Cork, or Ben Gibson for that matter. Gibson was teed out to mark him there, and he let his marker go. That was Buchanadis, and that was a great header. Give him credit for that, but the legitimacy of the free kick surely must be called into question. And surely the legitimacy of a yellow card again for Ben Gibson should also be called into question. Sean Dyche is furious, and the referee, who had the opportunity to go and have a word with all the Greeks that caused all the mayhem, has now had a word with Sean Dyche when he's queried something. And there's only one of him. Easy to pick on one man instead of 21. But the reality is now Burnley are chasing the game, but it's not a disaster because they still have that away goal. But one or two of those decisions at the start of the second half look very, very questionable. And another decision this time for Burnley, and Sean Dyche will be relieved about that. It can just relieve some of the tension now, and Burnley now must manage this game, and if they could get the next goal here, Burnley, they've got every chance in the world. Tom Eaton going across to the left hand side, 5-10 yards from halfway after the centre circle to take the free kick, far side as we look. 5 up goal in the second half. That's minutes, that is. Olympiacos 2, Burnley 1. The free kick floated towards the edge of the penalty area, hooked away by the Olympiacos defence. Now the ball breaks to Fortunadis on the right hand side, and this is where Olympiacos could really catch Burnley now. Burnley probably now will have to go for it. This to remind you of the Burnley substitutes: Joe Hart, the goalkeeper, Tarkovsky, Vokes, Westwood, Lennon and Vidra, who could well make his first appearance tonight if as long as no one gets sent off. And with Gibson now on a yellow card, I think Kevin Long as well was in trouble as well. It's going to be a long old second half here as the Greek side come forward again, and it's Castro now to the far side. Fortunatis is there once again. Fortunatis is there on the far side. Oh, he's waiting on the edge of the area, incidentally. They're ball played in. Bardsley with a header away. Not very far, but Ward just hooks it out for another throw. Almost level in line with the 18-yard area of Burnley here to Olympiacos. This is Lazarus. Lazarus infield to Camara. And Camara now chips the ball out. Fortunatis is there on the left-hand side. He controls the ball well. The Greek side going for the kill here. Hooked away by Kevin Long, who, in fairness, has not really put too much wrong tonight. Well, Takamakis, he should be in the book. He should be off the field by now for his play acting and his gamesmanship and his fouling. And yet 2 or 3 Burnley players are in the book under false pretences. But there's no doubt that piece of skullduggery when the Greek side did not get a penalty towards the death of the first half has somehow influenced the referee in his decision making, because there's no doubt about that. In a Premier League game, the free kick that they got leading up to that goal, I'm sure would not be given under any circumstance. I'm just thinking, I think that's a really soft one. Gibson's just standing his ground for me. And you can see what the Burnley fans make of that. Kevin Long frustratingly kicking the ball away. And in fact, he got a yellow card as well. And the referee, I'm afraid, has not won many friends tonight. And he's not many friends in this second half. Certainly with this commentator, and I hear Clarets player are not very impressed with this referee in the second half either. I think the referee has been trigger happy, and I have a feeling, and I have a hunch, and it's only a hunch this, and I'm not trying to accuse the Greek side of any gamesmanship or too much skullduggery, but those antics when they were not given a penalty towards the death of the first half, I think have played a part, and that's preyed on the referee's mind as Bardsley and Goodmanson try to mess up an opportunity there on the near side with a throw-in, which has gone badly wrong and out of play for a throw on the right hand side. Olympiacos level with their own penalty area. So it's all for Burnley to do, but with that away goal in the bank, it still sets them up nicely though. 2-1 is not the worst result in the world, but here goes Lazarus on the far side here. This really is squeaky bum time now for the Clarets. They get it away. Oh my word. Here's Goodmanson now for the Clarets. 2-1 down. And both centre-backs now in the book, and that looked a dubious one to me. I thought one was level. And once again, another prime example of poor officials. Never in a month for Sundays was that an offside decision. I'd have to look at a replay to be absolutely sure, but it's at the other end we go. The ball in, and easily for Tom Heaton. Good cross in, but Heaton was there to cut it out. Was this offside? I'm just seeing it. He's level. He's level. He's level. No doubt about it. The referee's assistants got that one wrong. Another bad decision again from the Slovenian officials. And it's not just the referee. The near side linesman's called a decision badly wrong. Nothing going Burnley's way at the moment here in Athens. 2-1 down. And the referees and the assistants, they're well up against now. No doubt influenced by all the Greeks in the crowd and that piece of skullduggery towards the referee at the death of the first half when Olympiacos were not given a penalty which was never going to be given in the first place. Goodmanson cutting the through ball out. Now he comes forward over the halfway line to the right of the centre circle. Cuts in field Goodmanson. Goodmanson's still going, and he's been brought down there midway inside the Olympiacos half. Camera there with the foul. Good free kick for Burnley to get here. Although a bit central, but it's well within their capabilities. Set plays is their forte. 10 gone in the second half. 10 minutes, just over. 10 minutes 25 seconds incidentally. Goodmanson to take the free kick right of central as he plays that in, and it's too much whip, too much venom, and way behind for a goal kick, and to the vast relief for the Greek fans and to the coach Pedro Martins, I'm sure, as we see the goal again. Gibson certainly not picking up his marker, and in the end Cork had to deal with him, and deal with him he couldn't do. Tom Heaton didn't have a chance. Going away to his right hand side as he looked, the ball going in the left hand corner as we looked, and the Greeks now find themselves in a very comfortable position. I say comfortable because they've not made it. They've made it very easy for themselves. This is Fortunatis, good shot from 20 odd yards with his right foot. He hit that so spectacularly well, and Tom Heaton diving to his left, got the ball and took it into his chest really well. Good piece of goalkeeping there by the goalkeeper. He was making his first appearance for 11.5 months since injuring his shoulder. You may remember in the Premier League match a year ago almost against Crystal Palace. A game, in fact, Burnley won 1-0, and Nick Pope went on to excel himself in that game and went on to excel himself for the rest of the season, you may remember. But he's out for practically 6 to 8 months of the season with a similar injury to what Tom Heaton sustained. And that was up at Aberdeen, of course, when Cosgrove was really feisty with his challenge. Ball back with Jan on it. Jan Wattis, the goalkeeper. Burnley look rattled here, and you can understand their frustrations here. For the first 13 minutes of this second half, they have been up against it. It feels like they're playing against 12 men at the moment. Well, 13 men if you call the referee into question as well. Don't like to badmouth officials, it's not my forte usually, but when a referee's making bad mistakes, then it has to be said. And there's the ball in, and almost a third one. Castro going right in there on the 6-yard box, and well done Kevin Long. That was a really good tackle there. Castro is trying again to play act and trying to get the referee's sympathy vote, but it's not cutting any ice here in, as far as we're concerned, because Kevin Long got a foot in. That was really good, sensible defending, and gets a foot in as Castro tried to con his way into giving a penalty which was never on. 58 and a bit minutes gone here in Athens. The corner comes in towards the penalty area, headed only half out. This is going to be Camera with a shot, charged away by Gibson. Oh, he's given a penalty! Oh, I don't believe it! I just don't believe it! And Gibson's going! He's off! Oh my goodness gracious me! I find those two decisions amazing! Absolutely amazing! And not only that, despicable! Absolutely despicable from the referee. To send off Gibson in that manner is an absolute disgrace to his profession. He's hit his hip and the arm is down by the side. How in the world can you say that's a penalty? And that, to me, is one of the worst decisions I've seen all season. And then to add insult to injury, Gibson's gone off the field, and Fortunatis will take the penalty, which Olympiacos, let's face it, are very, very fortunate to get, if you pardon the pun. Shortest run up, no doubt he'll hit it on the right foot. Tom Heaton must save this to keep Burnley in it. Fortunatis right foot into the left corner, and Burnley have been done yet again by some horrible, horrible refereeing. The Greeks go mad. Fortunatis is absolutely overjoyed with glee, and Burnley are going absolutely bonkers with the referee, because never ever in a million years that penalty should never have been given. I find that absolutely amazing. The Greeks have been up. Sean Dyche is furious, and I've little wonder. Nothing wrong with the penalty, the taking of it's a good penalty. Let's give Fortunatis his fair dues, but the referee, I believe, has even the score up, and it's all down to that skullduggery before half time when the Greeks didn't get a penalty which they felt they should have had, which wasn't given, and quite rightly so, when Ward had his arms down. They all went up as one, surrounded the referee and the officials, and they've got in their heads. And I think I think the referee, I don't like to accuse or incinerate anybody or accuse a team of trying to influence a team of officials, but I have to say Olympiacos, I think, have done a pretty good job of it. I'm afraid Mr. Vincic is absolutely wrong with that decision, and I think that's one of the worst refereeing decisions. And I tell you what, if it was a French official, an Italian official, or even a Spanish official, they would never have given that. And I'll tell you that now. Absolutely disgraceful. Chris Wood is going to be substituted here, and Tarkowski is going to come on. So it looks as if Burnley are going to have to go to a back four here. Oh my goodness me. Well, it's a hard one for Burnley to swallow. It really is. It's one of the most baffling decisions I've ever seen in my lifetime. And well, be interested to see what Sean Dyche says after this one, because he didn't look very pleased on the near side. Meanwhile, Miranda now to the cross now, to the byline on the right, left-hand side, headed away. Fortunadis is on the left. Fortunadis, 2 goals for him tonight, but the decisions that led to both of these goals look very questionable. So too the goal scored by Fortunadis for the free kick in between. All 3 goals down possibly to questionable refereeing. Here come the Greek side once again. The ball in towards the penalty area. Here's a chance now for Castro. Castro hooks it back across and away by Henrik. And out for a throw-in midway inside the Burnley half to Olympiacos on the right hand side, sorry. And I wonder what Pedro Martins said. I don't like to accuse anyone. There's another shot, comes in and hits in this time. Holds on well. It could have easily been 4-1 there. Well, Burnley here. It was Castro with the left foot after his initial effort was charged down by Tarkowski. But I just wonder what was said towards the referee by the Greek side, because they certainly got in his face and have influenced 2, maybe 3 very questionable decisions in this second half. Forget the attempts. I've just seen the caption there. They've had a lot of the attempts, but how many of those have been down to sympathetic refereeing? I don't like to incinerate and accuse a referee, and I hate to do that, but when I've seen it firsthand here tonight, it makes me annoyed. Absolutely annoyed, because at least two of the 3 goals, if the referee refs it right, don't happen. He's made 3 or 4 crucial blunders tonight. The only decision he's got right was the Burnley penalty. Heaton off his line does well, hooks it out for a throw-in. Well, in fact, it stays in play. In fact, Goodmanson keeps it in on the right-hand side. But you can tell Sean Dyche is not happy. 25 minutes just over the play. Burnley 3-1 down. And there will be questions asked of this referee. And I wonder what the Burnley players will think after that. It's so cruel because they've given everything out on the field. And 11 against 10, and it's ruined the game for me as a spectacle, because it was such a good game up until all that skullduggery before the end of the first half. Mazzaridi shoots from 25 yards way over the top with his right foot and into the stand for a goal kick. I don't think he's got every cause to stamp his foot in frustration. His team are 3-1 up, and in my opinion the referees influenced some decisions here tonight. As I say, I don't want to look at it through rose-tinted glasses or rose-tinted claret spectacles, but unfortunately, when you see a referee and he's supposed to be a FIFA-approved official, you just wonder what criteria referees are going through the FIFA system, because certainly the qualifications to be a FIFA-approved official are just not tough enough. And you're allowing cowboy referees, and who's no stranger to these games before, and he's been controversial. He sent off one player in a match some 3 years ago, which was rather questionable. And Stephen Ward is going off for Burnley. And he's going to be replaced, I believe, by, I think it's Aaron Lennon. And they need something now in the remaining 25 minutes. A second goal would ease the problems. But at the moment it's not looking good for Burnley at the moment. 3-1 down and in big trouble. The Clarets game delayed, and it's not turning into a great night for Burnley as Miranda goes charging forward down the left hand side, battling hard there with Lennon, who's not come out on top on that occasion. This is Kamara, whose shot was adjudged to have been handled by Ben Gibbs, and I say adjust in inverted commas because that was a very questionable decision. Here goes Lazarus towards the far side. The Greeks yet to make a substitution, incidentally, throwing to Olympiacos in line with the edge of the 18-yard line of Burnley. Very tough one for the Clarets to take. Fortunatis, scorer of 2 goals in Athens here tonight. And you just wonder now at the midway point of the second half. It's a really tough one for Sean Dyche now. Does he stick and keep it at 3-1? Or does he twist and go for that second away goal? It's a really tough decision for him now to really have to make. He's brought on a defensive option. He's brought on an attacking option. Ashley Barnes having to fight up front on his own. It looks a complete lost cause, although they do have that away goal. Here goes the cross, and in the middle was Guerra waiting, and Tarkowski in to knock the ball away. 67.5 minutes gone. Burnley now right under the cosh. Understandably so. A man down and in desperate trouble here. And not helped by some very iffy refereeing. And I just wonder, is the game salvageable? They must not concede another one. Otherwise it will be tie over after one leg. Here's Fortunatis with the corner. Into the penalty area it goes, and the header was one, and well, it could have easily been 4. Good corner again from Fortunatis. From the right hand side, and they all went in there, and I think it was Vukanic who got there first. Good corner, right footed, into the penalty area. Vukanic got his head on it and wide of the target. Behind for a goal kick. 22 minutes left of the first leg, plus any stoppages at the end of this second half, and it's not looking very good for Burnley at the moment. 3-1 down here in Athens. Barnes takes the ball nicely on his chest. Barnes still going towards the area, but runs into traffic in the form of Tsamakis, who gets the ball away and now finds Camera. Camera turns. It's about 10 yards from the halfway line, and now Fortunatis chips the ball forward, looking towards the run of Guerrero. The goalkeeper on the edge of the area was inside his area when he took the ball. Guerrero appreciates the overhead ball from Fortunatis, who's been the real protagonist from the Greek side tonight. But you have to say some of the refereeing has been, shall we say, iffy, if you can call it that. I know I do have stronger words which I can't repeat before the 9 o'clock watershed. We are a family show, believe it or believe it not. 3-1 to Olympiacos. We're coming up towards the final 20 minutes of the first leg. The second leg to come in a week's time at Turf Moor. Kick-off 7:45 for that one. And Burnley now with it all to do. Can they get a second goal, which would give him an opportunity? Taylor goes forward, and now a chance to get the ball in from the near side, or from the far side. The goalkeeper didn't get it away, and Barsley was coming in there, but hooked away by the Greeks. And now they've got a chance on here. Fortunatis is on a hat-trick. Fortunatis gets it across the gate. Looks for Guerrero on the far side. Guerrero now will track the ball back. Fortunatis is waiting in the middle. So too is Castro. Castro is there. The ball pulled back, and then in the end he knocks it out for a goal kick. Really bad play there by Castro, but big opportunity there. The goalkeeper wasn't very sure there, but I think he got enough purchase on that flick away with his hand, and it allowed Tikamayas to get the ball away. So 20 minutes. So in fact, we're now coming up towards the final 19 minutes of the game. So 3-1. It's going to be an uphill struggle in a week's time down at the turf. You'll be able to hear that match on the JB Claret YouTube channel. It is really, really tough to take at the moment if you're a Claret. And there's the ball in there, and it's a good catch by Heaton. Fortunatus again was lurking with intent. Martins is claiming something, or maybe wants more from his team. They maybe want an insurance policy of a fourth one here. But I find the legitimacy of the scoreline very hard to take. I'm supposed to be... I don't like to look at things from... being an Englishman, I've got to look at it from a rose-tinted perspective. I'm also from Burnley as well, so it makes it doubly hard for me to question, doubly hard to take as a commentator. But when you look at it logically, and I'm trying to say it as I'm not a neutral, obviously, but I have to look at it from English tinted glasses and Claret tinted glasses, and I have to say Burnley have puffed and puffed, and have been done by some very, very iffy decisions from the referee. More so than the third penalty, the penalty that the Greeks got. Never a handball, comes off Gibson's chest onto his arm, and then to add insult to injury, gives a penalty and sends Gibson off for next to nothing. I'm just seeing replays of some of the facial expressions on the Burnley players, and they don't make for good viewing, I can tell you. It's not looking very good here for the Clarets. Here's Fortunatus on halfway line, coming up towards the penalty area. Through the centre he goes. Fortunatus playing it in there towards Guerra. Guerra is on the area. Guerra shoots and just narrowly wide of the target. And Burnley there could have been 4-1 down there. And the Greeks now cutting loose against 10 men. Understandably so. Right, Port. Good effort. Heaton was beaten again, I suppose, if you pardon the pun, just inside the area when he struck it. Maybe that should have been number 4 there, but well, it's just, I just think the 10 men of Burnley are battling as hard as they can, and I think it would be rather hypercritical to say they haven't performed well, because they've really tried their socks off tonight. I can't fault their effort tonight. They've tried and tried and tried, but I'm afraid the officials have made a big inroad in this scoreline that I'm reading out to you now, with 73 and a 3/4 minutes gone here in Athens. It's Olympiacos 3, Burnley 1, and it's never a 3-1 scoreline. If you take the refereeing decisions out of it, I would still think it would be 1-1. Here's Castro here for Olympiacos. They're just slowing the pace down, and here's Fortunatus now to Vukanic. Now it's a chance for Camera to come forward. The men in red and white stripes, 3-1 up, but the way they've earned that 3-1 lead has to be very, very debatable, and has to be very, very questionable. How their antics before half time influenced some very iffy refereeing in the second half, and I'm going to keep asking this question until the cows come home, because that is never ever a lead they've earned by their own esteem. They've earned it through very generous refereeing, and again, and the referee again is going to book Taylor, I think, and I think that's a harsh decision as well. Oh my god, it gets ridiculous in the extreme. El Madouri is fouled, Taylor goes in, and I have to say it's not as bad as it looks. Taylor, I think, gets the ball. He does follow through, but not in a very high way, and I think he's rather unlucky, and also very, very unfortunate to be booked, in my opinion. The referee, the second half, is having an absolute shocker, and I say that with great authority. Wilkes about to come on for Burnley to replace Commonson here after 76 minutes. It's not turning the way Burnley would have loved or would have liked. The Burnley fans are now still in good voice and they're still singing their hearts out, and that can only be a credit to the Burnley fans who have travelled a long way. And there's the ball inside the penalty area, headed away, comes out again. There's the shot from Castro about 30 yards out, right foot, and it was easy for Tom Heaton, who just garroted it into his chest there, caught the ball well. Very difficult when the ball's going along the pitch. And by the way, the pitch doesn't look in an extremely good condition as well, which hasn't helped matters tonight. Pokes his header out and the shot coming in. Took a couple of difficult bounces, which made it that little bit more difficult for Heaton there. And well, he's given a free kick against Burnley. Well, not for the first time, and I'm afraid the referee's performance is getting worse and worse by the minute. Barnes is injured. Well, Barnes had every right to win that ball. Now, to me, that looks like a foul on the Burnley player. Barnes is the one who's come off the worst, and he's giving it the other way. Well, that just sums up the pathetic officiating of this referee, Slavko Vingenic. This is the first goal. Good finish, but was there a question mark of the validity of the free kick? Good penalty there. Nothing wrong about the free kick penalty given there. And then the goal that made it 2-1, and then the penalty which led to Gibson sending off, tucked away with great authority by Fortunatis. But again, to pardon the pun, were they fortunate to get that decision, Olympiacos? Because never in a million years you would have seen a decision like that and Glenn Gibson had to endure given in a Premier League match. I just find that amazing. And he's supposed to be, this referee, a FIFA approved official. In fact, all the officials from Slovakia are supposed to be FIFA qualified officials, and I'm afraid they're not of that standard. And another decision, he's holding his head when he wasn't taken out for his head, and Ashley Barnes is furious. This really is. He's hardly touched him. He's hardly touched him at all. Another piece of play acting. I am very, very, very unhappy with the way that the Greeks have play acted all night long, all second half long. They have been a disgrace to the game. And the referees have been a disgrace to their profession. I've seen some iffy referees in my time, but this Slovenian beats the lot. And I'm very, very upset that the referee, who's supposed to be unbiased, has made such a biased mess of things in the second half. He's been so biased to the Greek side, you could hardly believe it. Of course, the referee's human. Of course, the officials are human. They all make mistakes, and one will accept that under normal circumstances, but these aren't normal circumstances. He has been influenced, and that's a different matter all entirely. And I've seen English teams cheated out of Europe for exactly that. Derby in '73 with Juventus, and Brian Clough labelled them cheating so themselves. And Forest were robbed in '84 of reaching a UEFA Cup final by some very iffy refereeing in their semi-final against Anderlecht. And they're just two examples of a load of examples of bad officiating against English teams. Just really doesn't add up in this day and age. Burnley 3-1 down, undeservedly, purely and simply because of Olympiacos' gamesmanship. I'm all for all that if it's done right in a respectful manner, but I'm afraid the Greek side come out of it with no respect whatsoever. They may be winning this football match, and they might feel that they rightfully are winning this game. As Fortunatis goes down the right hand side, we'll just break off for a second. There could be a shot on here, deflection, might fall for Fortunatis. It's gone behind for a corner, rightfully given this time, but I just wonder, would it have been a different story if the referee had been a much stronger personality if he came from another country? Eastern European referees, and I don't mean with any malice to the disrespect or try to slag them off in any way, as the corner comes in from the far side towards the penalty area. Header won by Burnley, comes out to Camera to the edge of the D. The ball comes back out again. They still haven't made a substitution, the Greek side, by the way, and away by Taylor. It should be away anyway by Ward, who's not let anyone down himself. But I have to say, and I don't want to knock the Eastern Europeans here, but I'm afraid the referees from that part of the world are just suspect. And I'm talking Serbia, Slovakian, Russian. Some of them are very iffy referees. Even from the smaller European nations, from Norway. Remember Chelsea were cheated out of a European Cup final by a Norwegian ref. I don't want to go on about it because I don't want to talk as if I'm sour grapes, but it's a lovely challenge there from Bardsley. He's heard himself there. Tough competitor that he is. He actually hasn't played a bad game tonight. I've got to give Bardsley his fair dues. I have criticised him, quite rightly so, last season. Gets the ball there, comes off the Greek defender last, and I suppose that's got to be a goal kick. And that goes against the grade of the referee, because knowing him, it wouldn't have amazed me at this stage if he'd given a corner, because that would have been kept in line with his poor consistency in the second half. You can't blame him for being consistent. It's just the fact that he's been consistently poor throughout the game. We are going to see a substitution, however, and we're going to see number 11 here. Or it's number 17, is it? I don't know. We'll find out in just a minute anyway. With these shirt numbers from the Greek side, you can't tell whether he's a number 11 or number 17. And we have number 17 down on our notes, so it must be Anas Badzarat, who's about to come on, which is which really does boggle the mind. It has been really tough for me to get the names, pronunciations right, and I do apologise if I have got the pronunciations wrong. And we will put this to a poll at the end of the programme. Should Olympiacos have had a penalty for handball, and should Brent Gibson have been sent off? We'll run a poll and we'll tell you the results of that poll in our weekend matches tomorrow night. We've got 2 on tomorrow, and I'll tell you a bit about them at the end of the programme. Well, we've got about less than 7 minutes to go, and here comes the substitution for Olympiacos. They've waited 83 minutes. It's Lazarus who comes off the field, the number 11, and it's number 17, Karim. I'm going to give him his. So it's Karim after 84 minutes who comes on. That's their first change, and he wears number 17. If that's what you call a 7 on the back of his shirt. Offside. It's Fortunatis. Karim was waiting in the middle, but nothing doing. 6 to play. Full stoppage time. And if they can get a second one, Burnley, the damage may not be too great. It really is a disappointing evening if you're a Claret and Blue persuasion. Credit to the Burnley fans, they're still singing, they're still cheering their side. But how, if they saw what we saw, and it's easy for me to comment because I'm watching it from 22 different camera angles and bringing you the commentary with an available monitor, but if you've seen what I've said, if you're a Burnley fan, you will be absolutely beside yourself with horror and amazement by this, because I'm afraid it's not been the referee's finest hour tonight. I'm afraid very iffy, controversial decisions here that have cost Burnley a victory, and a 3-1 cost Burnley the game. At 1-1 they were very much alive, they were playing really good stuff, they still are alive sort of in the tie, but a 4th one here could be catastrophic here, as Fortunatis, who's been the main tormentor, finds Karim to the far side. This really now, as Cameron was aiming to shoot there, but a good bit of defending there by Cork. 5 minutes just under to go, 4.5 minutes of the match to go. First leg, remember, the second leg to come at Turf Moor in a week's time. Burnley have really been cheated out as Castro's cross comes in, and a good take by Tom Heaton. He's done well tonight. Hasn't deserved to have free put past in the Burnley captain. Has done really well. Caught the ball very, very confidently. And has done well indeed. And there's a substitution, I think, about to come on. And I think it's number 10 who's going to come on. The Clarets is. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think we might go with first names for short here, because these Greek names are just really, really unpronounceable. But they are in a very commanding lead, albeit with the aid of the officials. And I must make that point vehemently clear. We're inside the last 4 minutes of the match. 3.5 to play. What a disappointing night it has been for Burnley Football Club. The referee, I'm afraid, this is probably the worst game of his refereeing career. And I've got a history before the referee, when he's refereed these sort of games, sent off a player wrongly a few years ago. I can't remember which game it was. I'd have to go back in the record books and find that out. But I'm afraid this ref is not referee with any real integrity or any discretion as Taylor plays that in. Chance here, Vokes is in there, Vokes shoots, and Vokes knocks it in, but the flag is up. Oh, that just compounds Burnley's misery even more. And that could be another questionable decision again. Free kick taken. Oh, I don't know. I think they're all onside there. The ball knocked back in, and Vokes is definitely onside as that he's played across, and another poor decision again. It's just not Burnley's night. Just not Burnley's night at all. Fortunatus is getting a good standing ovation. Scored 2 of the goals. One a superb free kick with his right foot into the top left-hand corner. But should that have been allowed, and should this penalty which he's plotted on for 3-1 have been allowed as well, I have to be totally blunt and say no. But they've been allowed to stand. However questionable the decisions are, he's getting a good standing ovation from his fans. But he's certainly a villain of the piece as Giannis comes on. We're going to use his Christian name now for the remainder. It's hard to pronounce those Greek surnames, I have to tell you. So Giannis is on number 10 for the remainder of the match, which is now less than 2 minutes left. Well, it's been a real tough examination of Burnley this evening, it has to be said. But take nothing away from their fighting spirit. They haven't stopped fighting, Burnley, from the moment. 10 men, it's very, very difficult. And again, Barnes conceded a free kick, and again, I'd like to see that one again. Over on the far side, he's furious, and I can understand why. It's not been a great night for the officials. It's been a frustrating night for Burnley, who have contributed so much to the game, put a lot of hard work in, and then to be undone by some very, very questionable refereeing really leaves a bitter taste in their mouth. But I have to say something here, and I don't like to, as I say, criticise the opponents too much, but I just wondered that bit of skullduggery at the end of the first half when they all leapt as one, trying to influence the referee into giving a penalty which was never a penalty, which turned out to be not a penalty. I just wondered if they got on the referee's head a bit, or got in the referee's head a bit, and it's caused the ref to make one or two very, very controversial decisions, which have probably cost Burnley dear. But the only consolation that Sean Dyche and the team can take tonight is that away goal that they got from the penalty spot, scored by Chris Wood. But Burnley now have just got to. I thought they were going to get the second one then, but the flag went up for offside. There's 400 minutes, incidentally, at the end of the game, and we'll be hearing from Sean Dyche afterwards and get his view of events here, because I have to tell you that this has not been a great night, and I'm afraid UEFA have to look at the way they appoint referees for these sort of games. I'm afraid he's been taken in by the Greek side tonight, the ref, and I don't like to say it of a referee, but there are certain elements of the referee tonight that have to be called into question. So we played 40 seconds of the first of the 4 added minutes here in Athens, and I'm afraid it's been a very, very tough night for Burnley Football Club. It really has. And it hasn't helped with Sam Allardyce sprouting a lot of nonsense about Burnley not able to cope. I think Big Sam should be more concerned about getting back into a job than talking about Burnley Football Club. Sean Dyche has done a manful job, and he will do what he feels is right, and I thought he put a very good side out tonight. One of eyebrows were raised about the back 4, but they didn't let anyone down, in my opinion. It's just the referee have let Burnley down, really, with some of the decisions that he's made tonight. We played 90 seconds of the 4 at this moment in time, and it's been a really, really desperately poor night, it has to be said, for Burnley. You feel so sorry for them as well, because they've battled so bravely, they've battled so gamely, they've really put in a decent shift for nothing in the end. I know they've got the away goal to take back, but it means nothing when the referee makes some very, very questionable decisions, and I'm not going to stop harping on about that for the rest of the programme, because it has to be outlined here. The referee has decided the first game. There is no question at all about that. We played the 2 of the 5 minutes, and I think Burnley will just, personally, I think from a Burnley point of view, they'll just want the referee to blow the full-time whistle, really, because quite frankly they have really been hard done by now. Burnley will not give up, but I'm afraid it's been one of those days. We're coming up towards 2.5 of the 4 minutes gone. We've got 90 seconds left, and Burnley then will be put out their misery, I suppose, but it's not a misery they've created for themselves, I'm afraid. 2-3 key decisions at the start of the second half have toppled Burnley here tonight, and I just hope justice will be done, and I hope Burnley will come at it in the second leg. They do need to win by 2-0, and the only comfort of hope we all take from this tonight is that Olympiacos have never been successful in 12 previous attempts on English soil. They've lost the previous 12 they've played in Europe, so there's always that glimmer of hope, but a 2-0 win will still be enough for Burnley. They have to believe, and if they can make it as hostile for the Greeks and try and lean on the referee a little bit there, that's what Burnley maybe need to do, and give the Greeks a taste of their own medicine, because I'm afraid the referee has not helped them one jot. Here's Castro now to the far side. We're now inside the last 20 seconds of the match, and it really has been a real tough night for Burnley Football Club, as Gas plays that ball in, gets the soul back a second time. 10 seconds left of the match, and that will be that, I'm sure. But there will be talking points and controversy from here to eternity as the referee blows time on the first leg. Burnley have lost here 3-1, but the talk, I'm afraid, will be about the referee. I'm afraid Mr. Vinicic of Slovenia, because his poor decision. It was 1-1 at the break, and then a debatable free kick given against Ben Gibson, which he picked up an undeserved yellow card for, led to the goal scored by number 5 Bukanakis early in the second half. And then on the hour mark, a debatable penalty given against Gibson when the shot from Kamara hit the defender's chest and then onto his arm that was clearly down, in my opinion. The referee sensationally gave a penalty, and then even more sensationally gave Gibson a second yellow card. He had to go, and Burnley went to lose 3-1 at the end of the day. And I just wonder, and you just got to wonder really, was it down to all that shenanigans towards the end of the first half when all the Olympiacos players were claiming furiously that they should have had a penalty for handball from Stephen Wall when it was never a penalty in the first place? So much talking points, so much controversy. Burnley still, if there's any consolation, we have that away goal, and if we can win 2-0 next week, then maybe for once justice in this crazy game could still be done. But it's been a really trying night for Burnley, and I'm afraid to say the officials have barely had their finest hour. It's finished here in Athens in the first leg, rather controversially. Olympiacos 3, Burnley 1. Well, what a disappointment really for Burnley. We all had high hopes at the start. It was going to be tough for them, you know, step up in class and that, but I'm afraid 1-1, it was very much game on, and then Slavko Vinkic, I'm afraid, has not covered himself in glory. He's 39 years old, Slovenian. He's been a referee for FIFA for 8 years, so he's fairly experienced, but he has been at the centre of controversy before. He showed 2 red cards to Dynamo Kiev players in a round of 32 between EA Guinea and Dynamo Kiev, and there was a lot of there was a lot of controversy about that. So he's not a very good referee, I'm afraid, and I'm afraid he's made some massive bad decisions, and I'm afraid he cannot be I don't think he should even be a FIFA approved referee. I've said that many times. Well, we did say at the start that Sean Dyche's interview was going to be explosive, and you're not about to be disappointed now, because we're going to hear from Sean Dyche now, who's speaking with Darren Bentley after the match.
An interesting 90 minutes out there. What are your thoughts on what you've just seen?
Well, my thoughts are them brilliant fans there who have travelled over. I feel for them because they just want to see their team play in Europe against 11 players, nothing else. That wasn't the case tonight. But you live and learn. We've been told varying things about what can go on in these games, and I think we've experienced a lot. So,
we thought we might need a strong referee in a stadium like this. I thought we kind of got that in the first half, but maybe in the second we didn't.
Well, I've got to be careful as usual what I say, but for the life of me I don't understand why he's booked Ben Gibson. The first one maybe, the second one he's gone to block a shot, it hits his hip, hits his hand. How can that be deemed deliberate handball? It's just an impossibility, and then he gives him a yellow card. I think it's probably the world record for how quick he got out of his pocket, and then gets Ben Gibson sent off, and then the whole game then, you know, we're having to hold on to make sure we preserve what it is at that time and take our away goal back.
It was almost like from the first whistle of the second half the game changed. A quick free kick against Stephen Ward was given that was dubious. That ultimately led to another free kick that led to a goal. And
well, there was some interesting conduct from their side in the first half, from a possible shout of a penalty against Woody, which wasn't, by the way. You saw their bench fly onto the pitch. We keep getting told about respect. That was interesting. The ref, ironic, coming out of word with me for just asking the fourth official what was going on, and only asking, by the way. It was an interesting night, that's for sure. And the scenes I saw at the half time was peculiar, let's say, about certain people on their side around referees, let's say.
Respect really wasn't shown in your eyes, so.
No, it certainly wasn't. But you know, we have to take it on the chin and get on with it like we do.
And you've got that away goal, 2 goals down. This game's far from over, is it?
No, absolutely. And I think after that, I think the lads will be aggrieved. So I think there'll be a bit of energy in the performance at home, and that's for sure.
Yes, I've got to tell you that is. I've got to tell you that was one of the. Well, if Sean Dyche said it's true, I'm not saying it myself, but if he said that's true and he's in the tunnel, and I wouldn't be too surprised if that was the case. If they were in their faces at half time, then you've got to put it down to disgraceful behaviour from the Greek side, I'm afraid. There has been a lot of questions asked in the press in recent times about that. I also have to bring you, unfortunately, I have to bring you some other news as well in regards to the Burnley match. There was a Burnley fan actually stabbed yesterday in the build-up to the match, unfortunately. Which I'm absolutely. In fact, there's actually been some. I've got some news coming here from BBC. Now, Olympiacos have actually been accused of throwing objects onto the pitch and setting off fireworks during the first leg of their match last night. The disciplinary proceedings have been opened against the Athens side by UEFA, who also said stairways were blocked, and the disciplinary case will be dealt with by FIFA in the 27th of September. Now, a Burnley fan, I was just about to say, a Burnley fan was stabbed yesterday before the game. We don't know the name, but the fan, who's unnamed, needed stitches to a leg wound and received medical attention at the stadium. Now, more than 900 Burnley fans actually travelled to the game, and 22 were apparently held by police for being drunk and disorderly. That's not the case, I'm told. Apparently, they were told by the club to go on the coach behind the official coach, and they were assured they would go to the game, and they've been held under false pretenses there. Now, the statement from the club has said the vast majority of our fans were impeccably behaved with the coaching operation to transport supporters, putting us again a great success as it was in the previous round. However, 5 of our supporters were unfortunately injured, including a person that received a stab wound to the leg and received medical attention at the stadium. Those injured were all travelling independently to the stadium outside the organised travel operation, and of course the 22 fans that were arrested under false pretences were later released last night without charge. Well, it is very, very disappointing, and I've got to say the Greek authorities have to take, in my opinion, their portion of the blame, because in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I feel that Burnley have had a raw deal on and off the pitch last night in Athens. Back to action for them, league action for them, but I'm going to remind you of a double header of matches to come on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Tomorrow afternoon, Russ Vernon will be on Man in the Box for Wolves against Manchester City. That game taking place at Molineux at 12:30, and then at 5:30 we have a second live match between Liverpool and Brighton from Anfield. So join me in the commentary box at Anfield for that one of course at 5:30, with the classifieds taking place at 5:15 in the build up to that game. And also, just to remind you of Clarets match as well, Fulham Burnley is our featured match, kick off at 4 o'clock for that one at Craven Cottage. Will be there for that one, either a live or delayed version of the events that will take place at Craven Cottage. Well, that's the weekend's game sorted out. We won't be covering Manchester United Tottenham because I will be indisposed. In fact, we will be covering that game actually, as I'm not due. I'm starting a new job, but I'm not due in there till Tuesday. So we will also on Monday night be able to cover Manchester United and Spurs from Old Trafford. So join us for that one if you can, and hopefully Russ will be our man in the box for that one. But thank you very much indeed for listening to this delayed stream. Not the result Burnley wanted. Victims on and off the pitch of really bad policing from the Greek officials, and on the pitch really victims of really poor refereeing from a Slovenian official. In my opinion, should never ever be allowed to referee a European match ever again. From me, JB, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, good night.